So,
Let's start the mission, Joker.
Let's go.
hey, I want to apologize for the late live start.
Leave it to me. Persona 5 Tactica.
So, giving you a quick review of Persona 5 Tactica. It's not going to be that long. I'm not taking any questions in regards to Neglected Deku Onimusha. The next text story that I will release would be in regards to Villain Rehab Deku. That next part, since people have been asking for it. So, real quick, like I said before, this has been a big year for Atlas. So many new games coming out. This game came out recently. I just wanted to play it, make sure, go through some stuff and see what's different and whatnot. So, real quick, you can start a new game, or you can go to downloadable content, start there. Oh, wow. So, in case you guys didn't hear me, like I said, I'm not taking any questions in regards to Neglected Deku Onimusha right now. I will be doing the next part of Villain Rehab Deku, like I said, next week. Now then, I will be doing a review of this game. I just wanted to play it before. So, if you got the deluxe edition of this game, hey, you can start the DLC. Now then, I haven't seen anything where the main story game, where the main story of the game carries stuff over to the DLC, and vice versa, so I haven't seen any of that. Now then, with that being said, I already beat the game, so yes, there's data, but I'm going to go into the game real quick. There is some spoiler warnings and whatnot in this. Ah, yeah, why do you keep... Come on. Yes, I know it's being broadcast. Come on. So, with that being said, okay. Now then, go through what you can see. I personally don't like the animation, the way that the characters are. This is the way that the characters are. It's basically Persona Q. I don't like it, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad game in my opinion. The game plays pretty much straightforward. So, you have the hideout menu. You can replay missions, Velvet Room, quest, report. The quests are little side quests that you can do to unlock more stuff, like skills, or gain GP. GP is basically what you use to unlock skills, or for you to be able to use skills. This is the basic skill tree right here. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not really a big fan of it. As you can see, I got all the characters' main personal tree done. Now, as for the timeline of this game, where this game takes place, it's towards the end of Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. So after you beat like the final boss, for example, in both those games, he's just waiting to go home. And this takes place before he goes home. Now then, as for the Personas act as a piece of armor. As you can see, I got Izanami Picario on the main character. That's all they are. That's basically them in a nutshell right there. Okay, like I said, quests, you just go through them. There's 15 total if I remember correctly. You can actually get all of the trophies done in one playthrough if you're actually pretty quick about it. It takes a little bit less than 24 hours to beat the game. Now keep in mind, 24 hours total, not all in one setting. The Personas are playing a little bit more of a role in this for the fusions and whatnot. Now you don't get to change to melee weapons or anything like that in this game. So, You're not going to see any melee weapon changes.
This place
Okay. Like I said, you can,
feels hot.
with Velvet Room, you can fuse the new personas.
New power.
Pretty much the same thing as any other Persona 5 game.
Now then,
Special
make your
fusions.
decision. What would you like to do?
Another thing you can do is forge a weapon. Now then, the weapons that you're going to be forging are guns. Okay. Now, as you can see, hey, it takes Black Inferno. It's the highest gun I can get. Now, even if they're equipped, you can choose to use them.
Select a persona.
Or if you don't have one, you can go into the compendium and get it.
Are you finished?
Now, this game does introduce a new character. Well, 2 new characters, I should say. Give me 1 second, go back to the prep. Now, the downside is, compared to the Persona 5 Royal, you can only use have 3 active characters in a mission. And that's, to me, that's kind of redundant. Obviously, Futaba's going to be the navigator again. Now, the 2 new characters are Erina and Toshiro. Toshiro is whose story is going to be revolving around. Obviously, if you've seen videos of this game, you've probably seen it. So, and Erina is the controlling character that you get. Now, later in game, as you can see, Toshiro is a guest. He's a playable character, but only as a guest. That's the only way you're going to have a 4th character to control. As for the soundtrack's pretty good. Like any other Persona game. I don't have too much of an issue with Persona 5, the Persona games soundtracks. As you can see here, I can go through replay missions. Let's see here. So this way you can see some of the gameplay. Each mission is completely redundant. The downside is the boss fights. Boss fights can have some issues, in my opinion. They could have done better with the boss fights. As you can see, each mission has a main mission. When you go into a mission, make sure you check to see if there's any sub goals that you can make. With those, once you reach those sub goals, what they do is they allow you to gain more personas. So, for example, clear the stage, clear within 6 turns, no one party gets KO'd. Those are 3 conditions that you can do for a mission, or 3 sub goals. Now then, this is just like any other basic top-down tactical RPG type deal. Main thing is you want to try and stay behind cover as much as possible, so that way if you do get attacked, you're not going to get a critical. As you can see, I have shields up around 2 points. That just means, hey, I'm going to be pretty much not getting a critical if I get shot at or attacked. When you're fusing personas, make sure you try to get goals that you can do. As you can see, Joker just got attacked and he just got a critical. Enemies that get a critical on you will get one more, which is kind of a downside. When you fuse personas and you use them as armors, you're gonna get skills that can be like any monumental thing. Let's see if I can just... Now there's different enemies. As you can see, the guys over there that's kind of chilling, crouched down, are Legionnaires. This guy's called a Revenger. If you don't kill him, if you see the little yellow squares, he's gonna counterattack.
Now do it again. Show me what you got. This'll wake you away. There'll be no mercy. Amazing, Arena.
Now,
Multiple enemies wiped out at once.
all in all, story and everything, I would probably give this a 5. As much as I'm a Persona fan, it's gonna be kind of low. I would give it a 7 out of 10. Because that's how much this is. Because that's how much.
Persona. Let's go.
That's how much there's like actually stuff in here.
We're down one enemy. Leave it to me.
Freaking.
Everyone, follow his lead.
But I'm gonna be cutting this kind of short because it's like, hey, I have to. There's some stuff I have to do. Afterwards, as soon as I'm done talking about this. Now, like I said, 7 out of 10. The music, the soundtrack for the game is good. It's pretty much just like same vibe you can get from any of the Persona 5 games. Friggin'. The story, like I said, takes place between the end of Persona 5 Royal, and before the main character leaves the town. So, but yeah, it still goes through the same theme as Persona 5 games. So if you're looking for an order to play this in, play these games in, it'll go through Persona 5 or Persona 5 Roll, beat the final boss there before you leave, then it'll be this one. Okay. Now, with that being said, with the replayability of the game,
I should write that down.
let me return to the main menu real quick. The replayability of the game is pretty much, it's pretty much the same as any of the other Persona games. Hey, walking Insomniac, hopefully you get some sleep and you're not just walking around tired. Okay. With the clear data that you can get from beating the game, you get to carry over your Persona Compendium and fusible personas, your equipment, any report menus, and overall playtime. So your level does not carry over, just like any of the other Persona 5, any of the other Persona games. No! Walking Insomniac, you gotta get some sleep, man. I know that you want to talk and everything, but you gotta get some sleep. Now, with that being said, okay. With that being said, you can change the difficulty. But since I'm not gonna do too much with this, I just want to show you what it's like. So you gotta get up. So you gotta stay awake because you gotta get up for work. I understand. I understand. But yet, so
Mine is its own place. And
with the
in it
replayability,
a heaven of hell, a
you
hell
gotta
of heaven.
you carry over your weapons and everything. So it's like term test. Oof. I don't know what to tell you on that, man. Hopefully you studied and you're gonna pass. I wish you luck on that.
It's no surprise that his
That's good.
influence has rocked the political world.
Whether it's due to illness, an accident, or something worse. All we
Yeah.
know so far is that rumors are spreading fast.
Ironically, when I was in high school, English was the only thing that gave me trouble.
Keep a handle on this.
Math, I would sleep in those classes and
Lies have already started
get
buzzing
A's
around
and
me.
B's on the test.
Oh, there's
So,
nothing for you to worry about.
same thing with science. I don't know why.
He'd have to defy us to stop us, and we both know that.
But,
That's certainly true.
I mean, like, if you want to hear a funny story,
Trust
you're
my
jealous?
own end of
It's like,
Indeed.
so,
The agreement's going exactly as arranged.
here's a funny story for you. My
Within our reach.
freshman, sophomore, and junior years of high school, I had the same science teacher all 3 years.
Yes. It will truly be a dream when that day
3 different science classes, though. But I had the same science teacher all 3 years. Last I heard what he was doing, he was a principal at a high school in the area that I grew up in. So, my junior year, I had him. I went and I got to check the, I went with him to check to see if I passed the
Cold.
finals for the midterm.
Still that bad out? He's
Well,
fixing some coffee for you.
I ended up getting the highest out of all the students he had. Well, with that being said, what can you do? Guess what he asked me? You know, your freshman year, you went a little bit over halfway through the semester.
I feel my HP coming back.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, ironically. But junior was kind of the laziest year for me, especially with his class.
You're working like you
But it's like freshman year,
ran into force
3/4 of the way I was doing the homework,
Hey,
Frickin'.
got anything for me?
Rest assured we do. One of LeBlanc's finest offers.
doing the homework,
Straight from the
taking
source.
notes, studying,
Enjoy.
and I got in like the top 5 of his class for the finals. Sophomore year, I only did it halfway through.
Aw, thanks, Haru.
And then the my junior year,
Tongue of mine's pretty sensitive.
I think I stopped taking notes, doing the homework after about the
Everybody wants to stay inside, not just the
first
students.
month,
Sojiro spent half the morning grumbling
the
he
first
won't get any
2 weeks or
action
first
today.
4 weeks of his class,
At first I was happy
and I ended up
until he
scoring the
started
highest.
but
But it's funny because he asked me, "How are you able to do that?"
time we have together while we can.
I'm just like,
All too soon, the third years will graduate.
okay. At first, I was just thinking, okay, hey, I can either give him a science answer that's gonna make him laugh, or something that's just gonna make him be like, whatever. So I told him, I don't know. Osmosis?
Don't be such a downer already.
It's like, I don't know. I guess I learned through osmosis.
A little farther away, but each other, right?
Because my junior year, I would mostly sleep through his class.
I'll still find time to come see you.
Now, unfortunately, the downside is that
Like going to the beach.
the school that I had, they changed to a new grading scale when I was halfway through my freshman year. And it kind of sucked because it's like they started weighing the homework as more of a grade.
I believe I've
It's like, honestly, to me, the test should be more of the grade.
allowing me to enjoy the
Than
beach
the
with
homework.
minimum amount of fabric needed. Please stop making me
So it's like,
Oh,
What's-
sorry to
I
set
mean-
that conversation off track.
at the time I was
Fine.
busy working, helping my
Lots to look
parents,
forward to after after graduation.
through my work, through my part-time work.
And why not enjoy the time with
So I didn't really have time
With another
for like homework or anything. I did some of it, but not all of it all the time.
Who could use some self-respect.
So, unfortunately, my grades suffered because of that.
Now, our report on
But yet, I was
the
so ticked off my teachers because I would still get
investigation into the death
high
of
grades on the
Mrs.
test.
Harris continues.
English was the only one where I was a little bit struggling with because it's like, you know what, there's some stuff in rules that I wasn't able to get around and whatnot.
The voters look to him as the fresh new face of national politics. So his
Funny thing is, I
concerning.
barely even did any of my projects except for the major ones.
His support from the public has only grown. It's no surprise that his disappearance
Like-
has rocked the political world.
My senior year,
Accident or something worse. All we know so far is
Yeah.
rumors are spreading fast.
the grammar was the biggest thing for me on some of the tests.
There are at least half a
But,
dozen conspiracies at this point. They've been
what,
popping quite a bit on television lately.
ended up
Lots of future prime minister speculation.
being was,
Someone like that suddenly disappeared.
I would have like low grades, like
Really
my
hope there's
GPA
no trouble brewing.
wasn't anywhere high. I mean, like,
Do we seriously have to go through
I was
some
probably one of
DLC
the ones with the
too?
lowest GPA.
I don't know anything about the guy.
I mean,
but
like
maybe he's
my
doing
my
this
senior
today.
year, at the beginning of my senior year, I dropped out for a bit. I was just gonna go for the GED, just to get it done and out of the way. Oof. I don't know what to say to that. If a junior high had 2 English lessons, man.
What's wrong with the TV?
But halfway through my senior year, the assistant principal of my high school actually ended up calling me.
Huh? The hell?
Oh,
What happened to the TV?
okay, one for academics and one for grammar.
The remote stopped working.
Yeah, I didn't even have that choice even in middle school. But then again, it is America. I mean,
What's happening? Ow.
but my assistant principal called me up and he's like, "Hey,
It's floating. No.
I know it's senior year, you're dropping out mainly to help your parents, so hey, there's this program I want to get you into." Well, I can understand the grammar portion to help you out, as an additional to help you out. But it's like I don't know if you're in the United States or not. Okay, so it's not that confusing. It's like I'm like, okay, there might be a reason for it because I know in Japan they have like one for like grammar as an additional, and then they do one for academics.
We have entered the metaverse.
It can't be. I mean, there's no way. It was.
Okay, yeah, it might be.
Nav should be gone entirely.
Because it's like in the States,
They look the same. And so do you.
once you, at least when I was in high school, junior, going from middle school to high school, we had to,
Yeah, guys. Let's all just chill with it.
we had to take a ninth grade proficiency test.
Hang on, Futaba, that's not
The good point with that is if you pass all of those, you
Hey, look.
you wouldn't have to deal with it again throughout high school.
The door.
Luckily for me, I passed everyone but English. Like I said, English was my weakest one in high school.
Well, I guess all
But
we do is open it.
well, it's like that's kind of good, but at the same time, I would say if you want to learn English,
We'll be right behind you.
I would say it depends on what type of English you want to learn. Because if you're talking like British English, because like British English, and then there's the United States English. United States English can be more hard to learn compared to British English. And that's the downside of it.
We were just in LeBlanc, right?
Because in both countries, even though we both speak English, we have different sayings and everything else. Yep, you see? That's why it's like, hey, it just depends on what English you're trying to learn. Because, like I said, there's, like you said, your school focuses on UK English.
What's
U.S. English is kind of more rougher, more broad in a sense.
Whoa, we've been spotted. Get ready, guys.
That could just be because you practice with with your accent and everything. I can't really say too much, but nah, it's like so it's like my freshman year. I only had to take the English portion of that grade Frisky test again.
Attacking us, our only choice is fighting back.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Panther and I will, and we'll take the left side.
I wouldn't say suck on that, Mom and Dad. So, I mean, if anything, your parents are probably doing it because they were just worried about you. So, don't be too hard on them with that kind of stuff. But
All right.
but no, this is like a pretty easy game. Back to this game. Ooh, yeah, that could be kind of rough. It's like for me, the hardest language to learn is Japanese. So, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I kind of feel sorry for you on that one, Insomniac. But back to the game, because like like I said before when I started this, I'm gonna keep this short. Would I recommend people buying this game if you're truly a fan of the Persona series games and whatnot? Yeah, sure, go ahead and buy them. Go ahead and buy it. Would I recommend that it's like good to play and whatnot? It depends. The replayability factors, I got the guns, any weapons I use, any personas I use in the compendium. Now obviously I can't do this now because it's the first mission. You gotta go through the first 3-4 missions before you go to the hideout, which is LeBlanc. Now, as you saw, as you saw when I went through the replay, there's 3 sections that you gotta go through, and then you get like the ultimate boss of the game and everything else. The ultimate boss of the game is just like the one in Persona 5 that you got to unlock. The ultimate angel type holier than thou boss and everything else. So altogether, for the missions and everything else, there's a total of 51 missions. Now the upside and downside is you have to go through 3 sections. Now as you can see, I'm changing kingdoms. First one is 21 missions. The boss there is some crazy woman called Marie. Watch out for her because she has a tank. Yeah, Gabriel Sephiroth. Third one is basically more Oriental type. This one is basically a school background type. But each one has their own boss. And for each boss fight, you have to go through certain steps and everything else. Once you reach a certain amount of damage, they're gonna start you off with something else. So now, as for hints, it's like, hey, honestly, once you get done going through one kingdom, as you're going through one kingdom, go through and do the quest. Once you get done going through one kingdom, go back and try to use it to level up as much as you can, then go through the next one, and then do the same thing. The reason why I say that is because if you look at it, and like I said, you can get all the trophies done in one playthrough. A lot of people have, and a lot of people have done a lot of things. But if you look at my party level is 80. The Phantom Thief level is 80. The personas that you can fuse and combine and unlock are level locked. Just like with any Persona game. The only ones that aren't locked are those that are the DLC. Like the Izanami no Okami.
The awakening of a new power. Now then.
Like
make
for
your
example,
decision.
in order for me to unlock Fuse Set now, I have to be at level 96. Okay. And as you can see, the majority of these are, for his material is, hey, you have to go through and unlock, fuse all of them. Like Michael, for example, hey, I can fuse him, but I can't do it because of my Phantom level. Same thing with Asura and Sorosha. Now, what I was referring to with the Persona armors, if you fuse them, you can pick what skills you want. For example, Goddess's Embrace. It's passive, but it greatly restores HP and SP at the end of each turn. This is what I'm trying to get for all my characters, pretty much. Because just like, even though there's others that can possibly help me out. And as you might have seen, like for example, the element types are different. There are more status effects than anything else. So for example, fire is called burn, light's called dizzy, ice is obviously freeze, so on and so forth. And that's the same elemental types for pretty much any personas.
Would you like to look
Now
at the
then.
Persona Compendium? Then please take a look.
As you can see, it's like Izanagi no Okami Picario, which was one of the DLCs. If you pre-ordered this, is Shock, Lightning. There's also Despair, Hypno, Vortex, which is the Nuclear. Forget. I can't really call what's Forget. What element type is Forget was originally. It's December for you? Oh yeah, that's right. You're actually ahead of me right now. It's still November for me.
Please read
But
this.
it's like that's pretty much it. Like I said, I give this a 7 out of 10. But Insomniac, what about those that didn't participate in Triple N? But anyways, I'll give this. So I don't believe in participating in Triple N in the Triple N month. For example. But I give this game a 7 out of 10. Like I said, the main reason is mainly because of the game character designs and everything else.
Until next time.
Now then, up until you get to like the final area, like the final boss, the hideout's going to be the same place. It's going to be LeBlanc. Yeah, sure. I can see it that way, Insomniac. fun way to test your virtue of self-control. Yeah, it could be. But if you only dedicate it to a month, why don't you... I mean, like, if you can only dedicate it to a month, what's the point of doing it if you can test it anytime you want? But back to this, like, as you can see, this hideout is different because this is actually the Velvet Room. It's actually a Velvet Room dream. You see, I don't know about that, but if that's a true fact, I'd be kind of surprised. But so like I said, would I recommend buying this game? If you're a fan of the Persona series, go ahead and do it. Right now, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this price because I could be wrong. The price for deluxe is like $60 to $80. I would have to look that up. But yet the base game is just pretty much the same. If you get the deluxe edition, yes, you get weapons that you can get for it.
Things to buy here. Please, take
You can
your
also
time.
buy the guns as well. But I would recommend that if you're going to be buying weapons, go ahead and fuse them. But pretty much that's it in a nutshell for this game. I mean, it takes about a little bit less than 24 hours to beat the game total. And that's doing all the quests. Going through all the missions. Trying to unlock as much as you can in your first playthrough without getting everything done. It's a little bit less than 24 hours, as you can see. That being said, I'm sorry for cutting this short. I know normally I try to keep these an hour long, if not longer. Like I said, and I even started late. There's some stuff I gotta do, and I gotta try and finish up today. But next post you should be seeing is the next part of the Villain Rehab series. So I hope you all look forward to that, and I hope you all have a good weekend. Thank you, Insomniac. Good luck, and I hope you pass those term tests, man, amigo. Now, with that being said, I hope you all have a good time. You all stay safe. Happy holidays. And if you're traveling, see family. I try not to let the procrastination bite me. I try not to. But stay safe. Safe travels. Hopefully you all have a good holiday season. And in case I don't say it, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Or whatever holiday you celebrate for this month. Good luck and see you next time.